Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the We Want Picks post-weigh-in show. I'm Minty Bets, here to recap the official weigh-ins so you do not have to. I also got most of my voice back, thank goodness. This Saturday is UFC Edmonton. UFC loves going to cold places during cold times. If you remember, they went to Toronto in January and now Edmonton in October, which I don't think is as bad as January, right? The main event will feature a flyweight bout between Brandon Moreno and Amir Albazi. I won't be giving out any picks on the UFC platform this week, but you can count on Angelo and Jacob to do so. To unlock all the picks and tools, head over to WeWantPicks.com and become a premium member. We flew through today's weigh-ins within half an hour, actually. It was so fast, I did not even get ready in time. Let's begin with the main event. Brandon Moreno coming in as a minus 175 favorite and off of 2 losses by split decision. He came in first at the weigh-ins and weighed 125.5 pounds, while Amir Albazi just so happens to be Jacob's lock of the week. He looked great, and he has not lost in the UFC yet. Amir is coming in as the dog here and weighed second at 125.5 as well. In the co-main event, we've got Erin Blanchfield and Rose Namajunas. Erin priced as a slight favorite and cashing at 80% in those spots. And she's coming off her first UFC loss. She weighed 125.5 this morning. As for the veteran, Rose Namajunas, coming off back-to-back wins, most recently to Tracy Cortez. Not bad as an underdog too, 6-2 at plus money. She stepped on the scale at 125 pounds. Onto the heavyweights, Derek Lewis and Jonathan Diniz. I personally like Diniz over Lewis in this one. The Brazilian weighed 257 pounds and Derek Lewis at the tippy top of 266. Next up, the light heavyweights, Caio Machado and Bredison Ribeiro, both 0-2 in the UFC. Super not interested in this particular fight, but Machado looked really, really good at 205, while Ribeiro also looked very nice at 205. They both looked really good. Moving on to Marc-Andre Barriault and Dustin Stoltzfus. Dustin coming in as the dog here, and he is 1-5 as the dog, 2-5 overall. He stepped on the scale at 185.5, while Barriault looked good at 185. Next up, I used to love Mike Malott. And I mean, I still do, but he crushed me at UFC Toronto. So I'm staying away from this card or this particular fight. On that Toronto card, I bet him all the ways. I bet him to win. I bet Mike Malott round 1, Mike Malott by sub. I had all the Mike Malott props, and he was beaten and left for dead, and so was I. So yeah, I'm just staying away from this one. He's going up against Trevin Giles, who's coming off a loss as well. He hasn't had much luck as an underdog, and he is a sizable one in this fight. Giles weighed 170, and he was a cutie. Meanwhile, Mike Malott, also a cutie, came in at 170.5. Onto the bantamweights, Ayman Zahibi versus Pedro Munoz. Pedro's 2-6 with 1 no contest his last 8. He came in weighing 135 and his opponent at 135.5. Next up, Jazz Jasudavicius and Ariana Da Silva. Love this one. Jazz is the favorite here, 2-1 as a fave with only 1 finish in the UFC. She weighed 125 pounds, and Ariana Da Silva, formerly Lipsky, she has the most lethal face card I have ever seen in the UFC, and she also stepped on the scale at 125 pounds. Next, he used to be one of my favorites, Shah Jourdain, only because not only was he a fun fighter to watch, but his Thai tattoo on his ribcage caught my eye. His tattoo basically translates to if a warrior wants something he's not had before, he's got to do things he's not done before. So, yeah. My boy is on a rough patch, though. 2-4 his last 6. Math. He came in at 135, and I got to say, I'm not a fan of the shaved head with the long beard. I like men with beards, but I just don't think he looks better with it. He's going up against Victor Henry, who is coming in at 135 pounds. Next one should be good. Youssef Zalal and Jack Shore. Zalal's currently the biggest favorite of the night at minus 340 with a weight of 145. Love that smile. Jack Shore comes in at 145.5. Another heavyweight bout on the card, Alexander Romanov and Rodrigo Nascimento. I have never seen a cross as chunky as the one on Romanov's neck. Like, it's huge. He weighed 261 pounds, and Rodrigo Nascimento came in at 264. Next up, Garrett Armfield and Suri Sidi are the third bout on the card. My guy Garrett coming in as a small dog here, looking great at 135. Good smile, too. Suri Sidi also at 135. In another bantamweight matchup, we've got Chad and Helliger and Cody Gibson, both coming off some wins here. Gibson weighed 135.5, and Chad stepped onto the scale at 135. And the fight to start the night, a women's flyweight between Jamey-Lyn Horth and Ivana Petrovic. Jamie was the last fighter to step on at 126, while Ivana, my goodness, she must be the most beautiful woman in Edmonton right now. She weighed 125 pounds. And that does it, folks. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for picks at Minty Bets. Give my guys a follow as well at We Want Picks across all platforms, and come back next week for the post-weigh-in show for UFC Vegas 100, Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates.